It's raining outside today, and I thought we'd talk just a little bit about organization. What is organization on a tree farm? Let's talk about that a second. Hey guys, Dan the Man with Ralston Acres. It's raining outside today, and we thought we'd come inside a little bit and talk about some things that uh, still apply to a Christmas tree farm, but that also might apply to other areas too, and that's organization. You know, you want to be a Christmas tree farmer or you want to look at growing Christmas trees, but organization is very much on the forefront of everything that we do. What is organization? Well, I've got it written down right here. Organization is the efficiently organizing an approach to a task. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And that we know we've got to have that in order to be the most efficient that we can on the tree farm. Well, what are some things that we might have to think about in organizing? What are some things that we think about organizing? Well, I've got those written down here too, because I'm with my mind I might forget. But here's one of them: organizing your calendar. Yeah, you see here I've got my computer screen. Easy for me to say, right? Computer screen, monitor, and everything here. My Apple computer. Happen to have a iMac Mini. There's all kinds of different computers that you could use, PCs. There's Apple. I like Apple just because I'm used to it. But that is a very important part of the farm in keeping me organized. I have a calendar on it. And, that's another thing that I was introduced to. I was always a Microsoft person, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being Microsoft. Microsoft, when I was doing it, was more in business, whereas Apple was more in the education side. And then I think Apple got into some business and Microsoft got into education. So it's personal preference. They're both very, very good systems to use. But have you a calendar? It could be a paper calendar for that matter, but I like it being on the computer because if when you get on the computer, or if you happen to have an iPhone like I do, it's very easy to get notifications of things that you want to be reminded of doing on certain days. But that calendar can also help you in knowing when to plant, when to shear or trim your trees, when to spray, or when to order new trees, or when to order some things that you're going to sell, maybe in a gift shop or concession stand, etc. But that calendar can be a very, very important tool that you can use when you set up your tree farm and you're getting ready to do business. But you know, I know Google is one of the I guess you call it platforms that I use. Uh, I have been introduced to that just simply because some of the people that work for me were in Google, and I have some relatives that work for Google, and it just seemed to be the thing to do. And it was a little bit of a learning curve. Being Apple, I was into Safari, which is another browser, and I was used to that and being taken over to Google. But I have found that there are a lot of different programs with Google or with Microsoft or any others that you want to use that will help you in keeping yourself organized. I know here on the farm we even do photography. Might have mentioned that in some other videos where photographers rather, schedule times to come and take pictures on your farm. And again, an app, organizational type app, will help you keep those organized. Um, Another thing that is important too that I would bring up is keeping track of your expenses, things that you do. If you get into the tree farm, and I'm not a tax expert by any means, but I would suggest that you talk to your tax preparer, and if you prepare your own tax, sort of talk to yourself and talk yourself through this in that there's going to be some tax advantages to farming. The Form F, which is an IRS form, it allows you to schedule different deductions for some of your expenses that you would have on your farm. For example, if the cost of your plants, the cost of a software program to put, to keep organized. Uh, there are several other things: the cost of fertilizer, the cost of any chemicals you might use, utilities that you're using strictly for the farm, like you got farm electric bill that's separate for your farm barns or whatever. You can help keep track on the software, but it also that's something that you might want to use to help you keep your taxes in order. Um, or your tax expenses in order and your income in order. Uh, some programs that I have seen used and in the past. Quicken is a good simple program to start with. I have used Quicken in the past. Uh, the QuickBooks, that's another sort of a little level up from Quicken. It goes a little bit more in detail in keeping track of your expenses and your income from that standpoint. Other people have said, look, I just use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of it, and that's fine. If it works for you, that's fine. But irregardless, all this goes into organizing yourself and keeping yourself on track. Because if you're sort of like me and you have, five different things going on at the same time, sometimes I can get lost in a particular area or spend too much time here when I need to be spending time here. And, one thing that is for sure, if you don't plan ahead of time and keep yourself organized, you'll set yourself up for failure in a particular area, or you may not work as efficiently as what you want to work. And then you wonder, why is my time getting away? But organizing your computer, organizing your excuse me, your platforms that you're going to use, your programs that you're going to use, all those go into the plan of keeping things organized. Now, um, one thing that we don't think about, and I certainly didn't for a few years, but it has really come to light in the last, say, year and a half or 2 years, is organizing your tools in your barn. If you have tools that you regularly use, put those within arm's length where you can run and get them right quick or know where they're at. It's sort of a joke and sort of funny when one of my workers says, "Dan, I need a hammer. Where is the hammer?" Well, go into the pole barn and look on the bench. There's bound to be one there somewhere, and it might be under a sack or under something that it might take them 20 minutes to find. Whereas if it was somewhere they could easily see and easily reach and grab the hammer, that might be different. That's just a crazy example, but it is something that uh, has come home to roost with me, and I'm sure that others can probably say the same thing about certain things, about organization and tools. Um, you know, Put them in the right place. If you've got tools that say um, you don't use every day or something like, you might want to put them maybe just a little bit uh, not quite as easily reached as the ones that you're going to use daily. Like the hammers, I use them every day just about, or pliers, or things of a screwdriver, or something I use every day. I'm going to have them real where I can grab them real quick. Whereas if it's say a tapener, which is a tool that Christmas tree farms use and nurseries use to tape a stake to the plant. Uh, you might not use it, but maybe once every 3 months. Well, it doesn't have to be quite as accessible or quite as it. You still need to know where it is, but quite as accessible as the things that you use every day. Again, that's just something that comes to mind. Um, the when you're doing your planning, and this can come under organization too. uh, map out your steps before you take them. For example, we said in a previous video about your parking lot, about mapping out your parking lot. How's the flow of traffic and this kind of thing. Map that out. Sit at your desk when it's quiet and map out how you want cars to come in and cars to go out, and be safe about it. Where does your traffic flow? Are they going to be going in front of vehicles where they're coming in, or when I say traffic flow, I'm talking foot traffic. When your customers are carrying a tree and they can't see but 3 feet in front of them, and they're trying to maneuver through cars, is this going to be safe for them? Write that down, put it on paper, and sort of see and how that's going to work before you actually put that plan into reality on the farm. Um, Another organizational tool, and again, I try to write all these down, is uh, see what these other growers are doing. You know, it's you don't reinvent the wheel, and if it works for one, there's a good chance it's going to work for another. Now, it doesn't all the time, because all growers are a little different in the way their farms laid out and the way that they approach things. But go and see what others are doing. See where their successes are, or see where they struggle. See what works for them and what might work for you. You say, well, that's time spent that I could be doing. So it's well worth your time to go see what these other growers are doing. Well, where can I do that? Well, your state Christmas tree grower association is a good place to start. I've said that in other videos. I give you this real quick, and I had a phone call this week from a grower that we touch base about every couple of months. And he has a Christmas tree farm. I'll go ahead and tell you who it is. Paul Beavers with Beavers Christmas Tree Farm, just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, a little town called Trafford, Alabama. Been selling trees for years and years and years. I'm gonna say probably 25 or 30. I don't know. It's been a long time, and he has got a wealth of knowledge that he is able to tell me that, okay, Dan, try this, or have you tried this, or the joke was when I had a phone call with him, he says, I love your videos, Dan. He says they're great. He said there's one thing that's lacking. I said, what is that, Paul? He says, well, you didn't tell everybody that I told you every step to make, and your success is attributed to me. I don't. Paul said it is a joke, but it is good to have an experienced farmer somewhat be your mentor, or be someone who you can go to and ask questions. And what does this have to do with organization? Everything. They've been through it. They can see the pitfalls. They can see the pluses and minuses of what you're doing, and this will help you take that knowledge and incorporate it into your farm and do it in a very organized manner. So I wanted to bring that up. He teased me because I hadn't brought his name up, but I brought it up now, Paul. So there you go. One other quick thing that I'll bring up that we're going to be talking about in the next video or two is trimming your trees. Some people call it shearing your trees. It's really pruning your trees into that Christmas tree shape. That's a very important part of making your tree a good sellable product that people will buy to put in their homes. Um, when do you do this? That can vary uh, between what part of the country you're living in. Uh, Here in Northwest Georgia, what I try to do, and again, this is something that you'll probably see in some other videos when I do some actual footage of me trimming trees. I try to trim in the uh, springtime, and then if necessary in the fall, especially on young trees that are not quite ready to sell. They're growing, they're putting out good growth. It was explained to me like this: a lot of times when you're trimming the trees, um, wherever you cut one limb, a lot of times that limb's going to start bushing out from where you cut it back toward the tree. Um, but you want to cut it, in a sort of a Christmas tree pyramid type uh, shape, conical shape, not pyramid, but conical shape. Um, but I do that in the spring and the fall. Now, why in the spring? Well, the spring gives me that jump on whatever it grew during the wintertime and actually last fall, the previous fall. But it sort of begins the shape of that tree. It starts that shaping. And then as it starts to grow, then you start continuing to shape. Now, will tell you this is when they get to be about, and this is my experience with them, when they get to be about 3 years old, and they're going to be sellable for the next year. Now, this is the varieties that we use: the Murray Cypress, Lelands, your Carolina Sapphires, your Green Giant arborvitaes. These kind of trees. Um, you can over trim those. When I say you can over trim them, every time you make a cut on that tree, it is an open wound on that tree. And everything that's airborne, that's floating around, maybe you had a real heavy fog with some heat, and that just, oh, fungus just goes crazy in an environment like that. And so, you don't want to invite that, any diseases or anything like that in your tree. Now, I'm not an arborist or anything like that. And they may have a different opinion of that than me. But I do know that when you do shape your trees, that is something to keep in mind. What about the weather? Is the weather still good? Is it going to rain pretty quick? Is there are they calling for fog or anything like this that would maybe further enhance the environment for the fungus and things like this to grow? Um, but wherever you make one cut, you're going to have everything from that cut back toward the base, or excuse me, the trunk of the tree is going to start to make new branches and start to grow. Um, uh, some people say the more you trim, the bushier it gets. Well, that may be true, but I will attest to the fact that I think you can trim too much. Now, here's another reasoning behind that: is that if you constantly trim, the branches that are going to follow are not going to be as strong as the branch that's let to grow. So if you're looking to hang heavy ornaments or things like that on some varieties of trees, and you have trimmed it to the point to where the only thing that's there is a new twig that's very limp, it's not going to hang that ornament very well. So you can trim, I think, too much. So what I do once they get to be within a year to a year and a half from being sellable, I will only trim them one time, and usually that's going to be around the late August, early September, and that still gives them that opportunity for September, October, and even part of November to flush back out and to really appear uh, green and look like a very healthy tree. As you can see, organization is an important part of farming around the Christmas tree. Uh, I do want to thank you for allowing us to share this with you. Sometimes it does help to have a little skull session, so to speak, and not be on the outside with all the different things going on, where you can actually discuss something that might not be or otherwise discussed to you as a Christmas tree farmer, and that is something like a topic of organization. But thank you for watching with us today. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content of this message. Also, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. We have different videos as we're going throughout the summer of what we're going to be doing on the Christmas tree farm. And when it gets to be sales season, we'll have a lot of exciting videos for you to see at that point. So please subscribe. And again, thank you for watching. And we will see you the next time on Farming Around the Christmas Tree.